Hello friends, it's me again, Dr. Prajita Rao. First of all, I really want to thank you because you're listening to my videos. I'm trying my level best. And today we are going to continue with cell membrane transport. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about diffusion and osmosis. So without delaying, let's start. First, we are going to study about types of membranes. There are three types of membranes. First being permeable. Permeable, as the word says, it has the ability to pass through the membrane. That is, it will allow anything and everything to pass through the membrane. Second is impermeable. So im means it will not allow. So it will not allow anything to pass through the membrane. And third is selectively permeable or semi-permeable membrane. As the word says, selectively, it will allow some things to pass and some things will not be able to pass. So like we have studied in the earlier lectures, our cell membrane is it acts like a guard. It allows the good people inside and the bad people are not allowed inside. So it is definitely semi-permeable or selectively permeable in nature. So this is an example of the cell membrane. If you can see, the non-charged molecules can pass through easily, water can pass through very easily, but a macromolecule or any charged molecules and ions, they cannot pass through easily. So this is also known as differentially permeable. Okay, so there are three words or three terminologies that we learn: semi-permeable, selectively permeable and differentially permeable, and all three mean the one and the same thing. So how does the transport actually occur? The phospholipid bilayer is a very good barrier around cells, especially for water-soluble molecules. Water-soluble molecules are not able to pass through very easily, but the fat-soluble ones are able to pass through very easily. So, however, for the cell to survive, we all know that we need to give cell something to eat and drink. So, some things need to enter and leave the cell. So, there are four basic mechanisms. First being diffusion and osmosis, what we are going to study further in this lecture. Second is facilitated diffusion. Third being active transport, and last being bulk transport. So let's start with simple diffusion. Simple diffusion, as we can see in this diagram, it is movement with concentration gradient until equilibrium is achieved. It moves in the direction of high to low. So if you can see in this diagram, here it looks like there is more stuff, there are more dots. Okay, what are these dots? I'll explain you later in the lecture. There are more dots and here there are less dots. This is actually a solute. This is the solute. There is more solute. So from the concentration of high gradient to the low, this is how the diffusion is occurring. So this process, it does not require any additional cell energy. Okay, molecules, they have their own kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is the energy that we make when we move. The kinetic energy is the energy that is used when we move. Okay, so because of that, the cells are able to move on their own, and hence this process is passive in nature because no additional energy is used and no transport protein is used. There are some processes which use a transport protein, so we'll discuss this in those processes. Examples are water, carbon dioxide and oxygen. Okay, so let's make it more clear by this diagram. If you see here, we have water molecules and we have a dye. Okay, we just this is the diagram is taken when just the drop of dye is put inside. Okay, then what happens? Suddenly it starts mixing up with the water. The dye starts moving here and there. It is the diffusion starts. And at the end stage, equal distribution of molecules happens. So if you can see, it is uniformly distributed in the whole solution. Another example of diffusion is gas exchange that happens in our lungs. This is alveoli. Alveoli is the organ which is responsible for exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen. Okay, so it is a part of the lungs. So this is the capillary. The capillary, it brings the dirty blood which has carbon dioxide. So this alveoli, what it does is it gives oxygen here to the capillary and takes out the dirty carbon dioxide. So this process also takes place by diffusion. So in diffusion, what happens? The molecules, because they have their own kinetic energy, they keep on moving constantly and randomly. Over the time, we have seen that they distribute themselves evenly, and small hydrophobic molecules can diffuse in and out of cell without any problem. Like in the initial slide I told you that for water loving or water soluble molecules it is a problem to go through the cell membrane, but the hydrophobic ones, that is water hating molecules, can go very easily. So this is how the diffusion occurred in this cell. So what determines the rate of diffusion? How do we know how much diffusion is going to occur? So there are some factors. First being the steepness of concentration gradient. So let's look at this diagram first. If you see, there are two swings here. Okay, this swing is less steep or more steep? This one is more steeper and this one is less steeper. Okay, so if you go down this swing, you will go down faster or quicker, definitely. And if you go down this swing, you will go down slower, because it is not that steep. You'll be stuck in the middle somewhere, and then you'll have to give a push again. So this is what this said, that the bigger the difference between the two sides of the membrane, the quicker the rate of diffusion. Difference is greater, so the diffusion will be faster. Okay, so second point is temperature. So if you see at these two diagrams, this is the hot water and this is the cold water. Around the hot water we have more circles as compared to the circles we have around the cold water. So what are these circles? They are actually kinetic energy. So this diagram is trying to tell you, if there is hot temperature around, the kinetic energy of the molecules will be higher, and in cold the kinetic energy is less. So you can remember it like in cold seasons, all of us want to stay in our blankets. We don't want to move a lot, so we do not have a lot of kinetic energy. So definitely hot ones will have more kinetic energy. Easier way to remember? Yeah. So we'll remember it this way, and because we'll have more kinetic energy, we'll move faster, and so the diffusion will be faster. Now the third one is surface area. Surface area, so anything that has more surface area will have faster diffusion. Why? Because there will be much space, more space, and more amount of molecules can cross the membrane at any one point. So this cell is there, this cell is there. Definitely this cell has more surface area, so here the diffusion will be faster because more cells can enter. Here only there is one point to enter, but here we have more points to enter for the cells. And last being the type of molecule or the ion diffusing. So here we want to tell you that if there is a larger molecule, okay, if there is a larger molecule, it will diffuse slowly. So the good way to remember is, all the fat people, they move slowly. Okay, so larger people, no offense to any fat person, but a larger molecule will diffuse slowly and a smaller molecule will diffuse quickly. So non-polar molecules diffuse more easily than polar molecules because they are soluble in the non-polar phospholipid tails. Okay, so this we know that the phospholipid tails are non-polar in nature. So obviously non-polar has more friendship with the non-polar one and will let it pass easily as compared to the polar molecules. So because of this, the examples we studied, like oxygen. Oxygen is basically non-polar in nature, so definitely it will diffuse very quickly. Carbon dioxide, even though it is polar in nature, but it is very small. Like we studied small particles that diffuse very quickly. And water is polar but also very small, so it diffuses quickly. Okay. So this is a chart. It will we'll complete this step by step as we finish the cell transport lectures. So simple diffusion we have studied, we don't need any transport protein. The direction we have studied is high to low with the concentration gradient. It does not require cell energy, only kinetic energy is used. And classification, it is passive in nature. Example being water molecule, carbon dioxide and oxygen molecule. Okay. So before going further, we'll study about what is a solute, what is a solvent and what is a solution. So a solution is a liquid with one or more substances dissolved in it. Okay, there will be always more than one substance in a solution. A solvent is a liquid that the solute is dissolvent. This is the solvent. Okay, it is liquid in nature. Usually it is usually liquid in nature. It can also be gaseous. Solute, the substance dissolved in solution. This is solute. Suppose if this is sugar. Sugar is what? Sugar is solute. Sugar will dissolve in solvent, that is water, and make a sweet water, which is a solution. Okay, so now we are clear with what is solute, what is solvent, and what is solution. Why we are learning this? It is because we have to study osmosis. Okay, osmosis is a spontaneous net movement of solvent molecules through a semi-permeable membrane into a region of higher solute concentration. Okay, so what moves? The solvent moves. Solvent is usually liquid. Okay, the water part. Okay, the water part will move and it will go through a semi-permeable membrane into a region of higher solute concentration. Wherever there is more solute, the water will get inside there. Okay, so that is osmosis. Basically what happens is direction tends to equalize the solute concentration. Okay, obviously if there is more sugar in some place, okay, and so if we keep on adding water, so what will happen? The solute concentration will decrease. So the equalization of solute concentration will happen. So osmosis is basically a type of diffusion only. The only difference is here we have a semi-permeable membrane, and in simple diffusion we do not have a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so if you see this, there is more concentration of solute here, and the solvent will move from here to here. This is osmosis. So in this also we do not need a transport protein. The concentration gradient is the same. It is from high to low. No additional cell energy is required. It is passive in nature. Everything is the same, just that a semi-permeable membrane is used and the solute and solvent ka funda is there, which we have already studied. So now what is tonicity? Tonicity is basically, it refers to the concentration of solutes, if the solute is more or the solute is less in a solution. So it is basically a relative term. We cannot say that this particular substance is, it has more solutes, but more solutes in relation to what? It has to be relative in nature. So we always have to compare two solutions. So it can be hypertonic, hypotonic, or isotonic. So what is the concentration strength? What does it depend on? So concentration strength, say we mean that if there is less salt in this one and there is more salt in this one, the one which has more solute is considered to be concentrated or having more concentration strength. If we have more solute, that is more salt or more sugar, and the one which has less salt or less sugar, less solute, is considered to be dilute in nature. Okay, so concentration of, because of this concentration strength, like we have studied, it can be isotonic, hypotonic, or hypertonic. So isotonic is when the solution and the cell, they both have the same concentration strength, that is the solute concentration is the same. Hypotonic is that the solution has lower concentration than the cell. Okay, and hypertonic is that the solution has higher concentration. Hyper means higher concentration than the cell. So what I am trying to explain to you is, suppose hypertonic, hyper means more, so it will have more concentration. Okay, so this is a solution. Okay, how we are talking is that there is a cell, and outside the cell there is some solution kept. Okay, this is the cell and this is the solution. Now it has to be hypertonic. The solution is hypertonic, so we mean that there is more concentration of solute in the solution as compared to the cell. So if we see, this one has 5% NaCl and this one has 3% NaCl. So water concentration is higher here and lesser here. So what will be the direction? Because this is hyper, what will it be? More to less. The water will go from more to less. So definitely this will be the moment. Okay. Then why it is trying to neutralize? Because it is trying to neutralize it. So if we give more water to the outer side, it will get diluted. Okay, now comes hypotonic. So hypo means less, okay, lower concentration gel. Now this is the solution. It only has 1% Na and this has more Na. So now if we see which one is concentrated, this is concentrated and this is dilute. So what happens is we want to make this also dilute. What will happen? To make this dilute, what can we do? We can add more water to it. So adding more water is, this will be the direction of movement. And last comes isotonic. Isotonic means, iso means equal. So equal solute concentration is there. So this is the cell and this is the solution. So it can move either ways. We can go either this ways or we can go either that ways. It hardly matters. Okay. So what happens when we have an isotonic solution? In an isotonic solution, there is no net movement of water because the amount that comes in is equal to the amount that goes out. Whereas in hypotonic solution, because it is hypotonic in nature, this water enters the cell, and when more water enters the cell, it might burst and it will end up killing the cell. In hypotonic solution, again the water will go out like we studied, and because the cell will shrink, again it might lead to killing of the cell. So it is very important, like living cells are like little bags of solutions surrounded by a semi-permeable membrane. So for the cell to survive, the concentration of solutes must stay in the safe range, otherwise they will either swell and die or shrink and die. If you want to maintain homeostasis, this is very important. Okay, so these are a few applications of osmosis that I have listed, and this is a homework for you people. I want you to just go through them and think that why all this is happening, what is the reason to each and every one of them. Okay, and if you don't get even one answer, please write down in the comments below and I'll answer it as soon as possible. So for now, it's me, Dr. Prajita Rao, signing off. Please keep studying and listening to my videos. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much. Keep watching Edupedia World. Enjoy.